The Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth wish to acknowledge that we are located on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the beautiful homeland of the MACY Nation.
And here we are. We are back for episode 41.
Wow, that's a lot of episodes.
That's a lot.
So today for episode 41, coming to you from the Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth here in Winnipeg, is episode 41. Today we will be looking at the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Children, number 24. You have a right to quality health care, a safe environment, clean water, and nutritious food for an affordable price. My name is Cathy Cook. I'm one of the youth engagement coordinators here at the Manitoba Advocate, coming to you again on this Friday, and really looking forward to having a discussion today about right number 24, and also have some other exciting news to share with you and some updates from the office.
And I'm John, and I am a youth engagement coordinator here with Cathy at the Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth on this beautiful, chilly Friday. I heard that the groundhog, he didn't see his shadow this week, so supposedly we're going to have an early spring, but I don't know. We've been pretty spoiled for the most part this winter, so.
We've had a very mild winter, and
Yeah.
you know, as much as I love the groundhog and the whole theory of it, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because to me, we're waking up the groundhog. I'm just assuming that the groundhog is hibernating like a bear would, and we're waking up this poor creature to lift him up into the cold after a long sleep to ask if summer's coming or if winter's going to stay. Regardless, 6 weeks is 6 weeks. So we will either have winter for 6 more weeks, or we will have the end of winter in 6 weeks. So I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand the math behind it.
I think I'd be pretty grumpy and say, let me sleep for a little while.
Well, if I was a groundhog and somebody woke me up after a long sleep, I'd probably bite them. But again, that's me. So anyways, regardless, it is a really, really bit of a cold snap right now, and we will soon be out of it. So until then, stay warm. Make sure that, please wear a toque and mitts. Right? Go to the dollar store, get yourself a pair of magic middies, and make sure you wear them.
You know what? The one benefit to these masks, aside from the health benefits, of course, my face is always so warm when I'm walking now.
That is true. It is true. Yes. So, I mean, there is a positive to that. Interesting. I actually had a conversation with one of our kids yesterday about the masks, and they said, probably wear it for a long time after, even though I want to stop right now. So interesting. But, well, I guess that might segue us into the right. You have a right to quality health care. So maybe that health care is a mask. Safe environment, clean water, nutritious food, and at an affordable price.
And I think with this one, it's such a loaded right, for children and youth. And we can talk for hours about it, but the one spot I really want to concentrate on was you have the right to quality health care. And for children and youth watching, that health care is including mental health. So it's about having the right to quality mental health care is a UNCRC right.
Yeah. So every child should have access to proper medical services, whether that be for physical or for emotional or mental. So as the adults, we really have to look at, are we providing quality health care? What does that look like? Getting into, some sort of, and I'm going to say treatment for mental health or even addictions. The road to getting there is so different, right? It's so difficult. So yeah, when we get there, it might be quality, but it is the time that it takes often for a young person who's reaching out and asking for supports. It's the time in between, right? The access to those resources. So yes, it's important to have those discussions. It's important if you are looking for, help physically, mentally, emotionally, you do have that right, and to be treated in a safe environment, to make sure that your home or your placement is a safe environment, which will allow you access to those.
Yeah, and this the mental health care piece as well, especially during COVID and the pandemic and the struggles that are, reportedly occurring and being reported from hospitals. Unfortunately, sometimes social media can be not the most positive place. So I think children and youth watching need to keep that in mind. And just some of the comments that I've seen regarding, kids need to toughen up and things like that. And people that are, we're still struggling to get rid of this stigma and for people to truly understand that it's a child and youth and everybody, but a child and youth's right to have quality mental health. And keeping in mind that during this pandemic, that has put a big stress on everybody, but especially children and youth who are, even especially the children that are so young that they're trying to comprehend what is going on. So, as an adult, I encourage you to not turn away and not listen to a child or youth that may be asking for help, because it is a very serious issue. And again, they have a right to the quality health care. And it's us as adults that have that need to provide that for them.
So I have a feeling that we're going to be able to kind of focus a little bit about on a little bit of this with respect to COVID in a couple of months. Just wanted to give a shout out to one of our youth ambassadors, Klesh, who is currently working on a research project. I'm not sure with whom or where, but it is specific to young adults and mental health with respect to COVID and how these impacts of the social isolation, of the, closing of a lot of different things, how it's impacting our young people. So, again, the topic, I'm sure we'll be able to hopefully maybe invite Klesh to have that conversation with you to let you know really what they found. Specific to that right, again, I'll read it, you have the right to quality healthcare, safe environment, clean water, nutritious food at an affordable price. Again, while we're really focusing on kind of the quality healthcare with respect to mental health and the impacts of kind of this pandemic, however, I think it's really important to, take a minute just to look at the clean water, nutritious food at an affordable price. Again, most of us have access to a Walmart or a Giant Tiger or a Freshco, depending on where we're located. But when John and I were able to go and do some work, up north and down south and in the different kind of regions, again, it should be surprising. But, a lot of these places don't have access to clean water, and nutritious food comes at an extremely high price. If we're looking at, very, very far up in the north, and I'll say, we had our advocate at one point was up doing some work, and I think a watermelon was $26 for a watermelon. Clean water, nutritious food. Often, many of our remote communities or Indigenous communities that are up north don't have access to water 24/7. They're not as lucky as we do. So some are working with water plants that are continuously breaking down, creating these huge gaps in service with respect to just water, which is such a for me, we take it for granted. Again, when we did the listening tour, we had one young man who articulated how, it was fantastic to go home and visit after being in the big city. He was able to reconnect with his family but one of the things he said is that as much as his visit was great, he didn't realize how thirsty he was. And that always struck me. He said, I had a fantastic visit, but I was always thirsty. And I think it might have just been because having to boil your water to just have a quick sip of it, and I can't wrap my brain around that because, again, I can and just go to a tap and turn it on. So when we look at that, right, it is pretty huge in that, yes, it is very specific to mental health and emotional health. But again, the the physical is really important. So we need to make sure that we're safe through accessing services, but also through making sure we have access to clean water. And we should be able to buy a head of lettuce, anywhere for the average of $5, right? It shouldn't be triple or double in a community where that's where the food costs really need to look at the poverty line within those communities. So anyways, I'm taking up tons of time. We got some updates. So with respect to UNCRC, I'm kind of just really hoping that we can bring some light to the idea is that there are a lot of young people out there and families who do not have access to health care or a safe environment or clean water or nutritious food at an affordable price. So those are things we're going to have to, as a society, look at and come up with ways to make sure that access to these things is equitable no matter where you come from.
Yeah, and you're right, because we've signed on to this as Canada. We signed on to the UNCRC, and aside from adults, we have those rights, but the UNCRC is specific to these children and youth. So as Canada, we can do better. In Manitoba, we can definitely do better to follow the UNCRC rights of the quality, clean water, nutritious food, affordable price. So it's not an option. It's something we have to commit to doing. Special shout out, of course, Bell Let's Talk Day was February 28th, and it was pretty successful. They raised over $7.9 million towards mental health and ending the stigma. I found myself doing my part to get that 5 cents a mention kind of a thing that was going on. So
I saw
exciting.
your posts. They were fantastic. I'm just not creative or tech savvy.
And then this month, I Love to Read Month here in February. So Cathy and I and our office have been approached. So we'll be doing some readings over Zoom to some schools that requested us. So we'll be helping to read some books to some children and youth, and really celebrate this I Love to Read Month.
So that's really exciting for me because I actually do love to read. Unfortunately, with age, I've needed glasses, so I tried the audiobook. Doesn't work. There's nothing like cracking open a brand new book and hearing that snap of the base. But with that said, I also wanted to just kind of give you an update on we're going to be celebrating Have a Heart Day on Valentine's Day, which is February 14th. So the First Nations Caring Society, this is one of their initiatives, and we've kind of jumped on the boat, and we are looking to send out up to 300 Valentines to youth, children and youth across the province. So again, we have a list of young people that we have that have worked with our office, that have access advocacy services, that work with John and I, from with our youth ambassadors. But again, happy Valentine's Day. Please have a heart. First Nations children should not have to fight for services that all other Canadians enjoy, which actually does kind of tie into the right we talked about. And then the other little comment is give First Nations children the same chance to grow up safely at home, to get a good education and be healthy and proud of their cultures. So our one of our advocates, Paula, has kind of spearheaded this, and we have a couple more folks, shout out. I can't shout out to the whole office, but I know Kelsey's right now madly trying to stuff envelopes with Cheryl's help. That's why Cheryl's not here. But if you are interested in receiving just a Valentine's from our office with, just a quick little message, and we're going to throw some suckers in there, just to throw a comment, on the feed, and we'll try and get something out to you. I'm really excited about this particular initiative because it really celebrates and recognizes how important having a heart is, and how important it is that we are acknowledging and accepting and respecting that our young people deserve to be celebrated on Have a Heart Day. So yes, please, if you would like a little mail out package, put something in the comments and we'll make sure we get it to you. Again, this is the first year that we're doing it, but we're hoping that this can be an annual mail out and campaign, because it really does kind of encapsulate the idea that we have to make sure that we're supporting our young people and acknowledging and respecting them on this special day, Valentine's Day.
So I guess that'll end our episode number 41 that we're on. So just a reminder, UNCRC 24, you have the right to quality health care, a safe environment, clean water, and nutritious food at an affordable price. And to keep that in mind. These rights are very important to everybody, to children and youth especially. So make sure to check out our website. We have the poster, which is available on PDF. You can download to check out all the different rights that we've been talking about.
And before I forget, I just do want to do one shout out to one of our youth ambassadors, Miss Tasha. If you're listening, we just want to say congratulations. We're so very proud of you. She has graduated. So again, we want to make sure we celebrate the accomplishments and achievements of all our young people. So yay, Tasha! Happy graduation and way to go.
And yeah, I'll just say thank you. Join us next week again for another episode, and we'll see you again.
See you next week. I'll have my mask on and not have this generic one.